Hi, I'm Pedro, the product designer working on the agentic duo chat for the IDE, and I want to show you this Claude project that I created to try to prototype in a very basic way the interactions and behavior that I shared previously in these flows. So all of these layers, the understanding layer, the task layer, action layer, planning layer, and the execution layer, with all of these decision moments, I tried to incorporate that into this Claude project, which was the easiest way I could find to demo this and to also share it with you so that you can play around with it. So if you want to give me your emails from GitLab, I can share this project so that you can try it out. And so here I added a very big system prompt, some instructions that are a reflection of what exists in these flows for dialogue and interaction behavior. So let's try it out. I'm going to put something here. And so all of the tool calls, all of this is going to be role played. And so Claude cannot access, my file system. It cannot, run commands for me or fetch content from the web or even talk to GitLab instance. So it's all going to be made up, even file names, just to see how far we can get. So in this case, I'm asking it an analysis question. So I'm not asking it to do anything for me. So let's see what it says. And as you can see here, immediately at the top, we have a description that I've asked Claude to include in all of its messages, which is the analysis of the prompt. So every time we submit a prompt, it's going to analyze how many intents it contains. What is the type of intent? In this case, it's a task, because we're asking it to analyze. What is the kind of task? In this case, it's an information task. And also to say, the action and, if there's any active plan at the moment. And we don't have an active plan. And so you can see here that it tried to do some tool calls of reading the current implementation file. I didn't provide it, any file, the Stripe webhook.js. It's just making things up as it goes along and role playing as if we were in the IDE. Let's see now something a little bit more interesting. So for example, just like thanks for your help. Like this is a social exchange. So, or I'm just gonna type thanks and let's see what it comes back with. All right, so you see it comes back with understanding that it's just a single intent. And in this case, there's no task intent. It's just dialogue. Okay, thanks. So it replied back. Let's see another, like for task intent, show me the document that we already went through the information. So let's go through a decision task. Which design pattern would be best for implementing a notification system? Let's see. All right, there you go. So again, one intent, it's a task intent. And in this case, it's a decision. So the user is asking for help to make a decision and is providing a lot of content to answer this question of what design pattern would be best. All right. Let's now go a little bit further into the actions. So let's ask an action such as, or let's go in and see the difference between a immediate action or when a plan might be more helpful. So immediate action, so things where are low risk, isolated, it's clear parameters and it's a standard, well understood operation. So let's see. Okay, sort and organize the imports at the top of this file. Sort and organize the imports. Let's specify a file name. Just sort and organize the imports at the top of, I don't know, login.view. Let's see what it does. Okay, there you go. So we can see, again, intent single, intent type task, task action, and what is the action? It's an object action. It's manipulating, writing to a file, and there's no plan. And it says it's a low risk, is a reversible change that can be performed immediately. And it tries to go and use like tools, in this case, made up tools. So reading file, analyzing, identifying, checking, and then it does the work. So sorting and organizing and then comes back and says the imports have been sorted and have been all organized. Okay. And now let's give it a try for something more complex, saying, for example, convert all our callbacks to use async await. And so this, in theory, this should use a plan first approach because it's refactoring across multiple files. Let's see what it comes up with. All right, so it recognized that it involves multiple steps and system-wide changes that affect critical functionality. So a plan first approach is needed. And we can see that it is creating the plan. And I asked it specifically, anytime a plan is needed to create an artifact in Claude. So this is why we see it here on the side. I asked it to provide time estimates as if, it was an AI system doing this, very performant, but the time estimates are way off. Well, or at least I think so, because it's taking like 3.5 hours to do this. And even the first task, which is identify callback patterns in code base, is 30 minutes just to scan the project files. And I don't know, it feels like a very, very long time for something like this to be automated. But anyway, we can see that it created a plan. Now let's ask it to change something in the plan. So let's remove step 2, for example. Remove step 2. Let's see what it comes up with. Let me move this here. So remove step 2. Okay, it removed step number 2, and it correctly recognized that it's a plan action, and there's an active plan. So it already recognized that there wasn't a plan that was created, and it comes back and says, okay, how the plan has been updated. Would you like to execute this updated plan automatically? So complete all steps without stopping, or interactively. So before we go to the execution, let's actually reduce this to just step 1 so that we can then proceed with the automatic execution, or just keep the first 2 steps. Okay, so it's going to, again, update the plan. It's removing all of that. All right. I don't know. It said it updated the plan, but it's still showing. I don't know what's wrong here. Huh. Strange. Keep let me retry this, because it did not update the plan. I don't know what's wrong. Okay, it says it updated the plan even though it's not reflected here. So let's go ahead and execute automatically. All right, so it would be executing the plan in our IDE if this was, an actual thing working. So it's, using, all of the tools and summarizing before what it's going to do and after what it did. Step 2, all right? And it came back and said, the plan has been completed successfully. This is what I did. Is there anything you'd like to know about the changes or like to proceed with the remaining steps that were previously removed from the plan? So this is really cool. And this is a demo, and I invite you to try it out. I'm going to share with a few people from the team so you can try it out yourself. But again, this is a very basic prototype, but it's the idea just to give a sense of how it might behave if we were to use a system like this for dialogue management. All right. So when you're using this, I encourage you to also take a look at this diagram at the same time so that you can test out a few things and have fun. I don't know, you're probably going to break it some way. It might be easy to break, but to get to do things you don't want it to, but have fun with this. Thank you so much.